Welcome to the Way to the Truth cast. In this session, we're going to read the latest news that is before our nation. Recession fears spark market freefall. Fed cut looms. U.S. stock markets expressed a sharp decline on Monday, reflecting growing fears of an impending recession. Recent economic data showed rising unemployment, slowing job growth, and a contraction in the manufacturing activities. Major stock indexes fell significantly, with the Dow Jones down 2.3%, NASDAQ down 4%, and the S&P 500 down 3.1%. Actually, the Chinese and the Taiwanese and the Japanese markets were down even higher. The VIX fear index spiked to its highest level since the pandemic peak, and ending a long period of relative calm. Market expectations now heavily favor a Federal Reserve increase rate cut, possibly as soon as August, while political factors may also be influencing the market settlement. So what most people think is, well, the economic guys are saying that we are in an economic downturn, that there is this indicator that unemployment has went up over 0.5% in the last 12 months, which indicates that we're in a recession, and other indicators. We have been in a recession for the last year and a half. However, it comes interestingly after Kamala Harris last Thursday became the nominee of her party. Then on Friday, she made an announcement. I think it's her vice president, some Tim guy, who's in. I think he's like the Wisconsin governor. He is in all kinds of trouble up there, as it is, and so I think what most people are saying is that they see Kamala Harris as a viable candidate and probably going to win the presidential election. So the stock markets are shrinking back, putting their money into gold and Bitcoin to protect it because of her economic decisions with the Green New Deal and other liberal beliefs that that's going to contract the market, is going to send us into a recession and depression, because those kind of things always do. And so Kamala is overseeing a domestic dogfight as her approaching VP announcement sparks party infighting. And so she chose Tim Walz. And so this is actually, I got this this morning, but it's actually old news. If I look over to, let's see, what was it called? Daily Wire, she did announce who her VP is going to be, and it's going to be Tim Walz. But it sounds like he's in all kinds of trouble in himself. He needs in his home state. I can't remember what that is. Maybe I'll go over there and read that in a minute. Kamala and Trump are duking it out in the battleground states. A recent CBS News YouGov poll shows Vice President Kamala Harris now narrowed former President Donald Trump's lead in several battleground states, even taking a 1-point lead nationally. Harris has tied or nearly tied Trump in key swing states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, significantly improving on President Joe Biden's previous polling numbers. The poll indicates a surge in enthusiasm among Black voters since Harris became a presumptive nominee, with 74% now saying they will definitely vote compared to 58% previously. While Harris holds an advantage with female voters and has improved domestic standings with black voters, Trump maintains a substantial lead on an economic policy and border enforcement issues. Former Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle was involved in the White House cocaine cover-up. Former Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle allegedly pushed to destroy cocaine evidence found in the White House in July of 2023, and was resisted by the Forensic Services Division and Uniform Division. The cocaine discovery led to heated internal disagreements and the removal of an officer who wanted to follow standard investigative protocol. DNA material found on the cocaine bag reportedly resulted in a partial hit in the criminal databases. I wonder who that was. But further investigation was allegedly discouraged by agency leadership. Chettle's close relationship with the Biden family and the potential link to Hunter Biden's past drug use added complexity to the situation. The incident has raised questions about the handling of evidence and the potential cover-up within the Secret Service. Biden prioritizes federal plastic utensil ban instead of preparing for looming war and economic collapse. The Biden administration has announced a plan to phase out single-use plastics, including cutlery, cups, and straws across federal departments by 2035 to combat climate change and plastic pollution. This initiative aims to reduce the production and consumption of virgin plastics, with a specific goal to phase out single-use plastics from federal food service operation, events, and packaging by 2027. Republican lawmakers have criticized the plan, calling it laughable and absurd, arguing that there are more pressing issues to address. The administration has included provisions for exemptions in cases of national security or law enforcement operations. Why don't they just wash their own dishes like we do? No, I have plastic forks. Cori Bush and paper plates. Cori Bush shows empathy toward Hamas ahead of tight primary race. Democrat Representative Cori Bush of Missouri. You remember we shipped all of these Muslims into Missouri whenever they came into the country as a rescue zone, and so they elected somebody into the House of Representatives called Cori Bush, and expressed reluctancy to label Hamas as a terrorist organization days before a tight primary election. Hopefully she'll get primaried. Bush drew parallels between Hamas and protesters in Ferguson, Missouri, saying she wanted to be careful about labeling groups as terrorists. Her comments were quickly walked back by a spokesperson who stated that Bush knows Hamas is a terrorist organization. Oh, really? Okay. I guess now does she realize that the Ferguson, Missouri protesters were a terrorist organization as well? I guess not. But Bush has been criticized of Israel's military actions in Gaza, as was one of only 2 House members to vote against banning Hamas members from entering the U.S. Polls suggest Bush is trailing her primary opponent, Wesley Bell, as she faces a tough election battle. Well, hopefully she will get primaried, and we'll have one less commie Muslim in our House of Representatives. Kansas City Chiefs, Harris and Butker kicks his way to record-breaking NFL contract. The Kansas City Chiefs have agreed to contract extension with kicker Harry Butker, making him the highest-paid kicker of the NFL with a record $25.6 million deal over 4 years. There's no DEI in the NFL. If you do good, you get paid well. Butker, who has been with the Chiefs since 2017, has an impressive field goal conversion rate of 89.1% in regular section games and 91.4% in playoffs, attributing to 3 Super Bowl wins. Earlier this year, Butker faced controversy for remarks in a commencement speech that was inaccurately criticized as anti-Semitic, misogynistic, and anti-BLT, which is my way of saying gay. In actuality, his comments were in total alignment with his Catholic faith, and it was at a Catholic college, if I remember correctly. Totally appropriate for the occasion. Despite the controversy, the Chiefs have secured Butker's services through 2028, demonstrating their confidence in his on-field performance. Now, we've been trying to say for years, why don't you let us white boys play in the NBA for $10,000 a game? Anyway, they won't let us. So that would be DEI. Green Bay, Wisconsin City Council taps leftist legal teams to prepare for post-2024 election lawfare. Green Bay, Wisconsin City Council voted 7-4 to retain outside legal counsel for expected election-related litigation, raising concerns about the city's election integrity. No duh. They're going to cheat. The city attorney is seeking to hire left-leaning law firms, Forward, States United Democracy Center, and Stanford Rosenbaum, which have histories of supporting Democrat causes. Green Bay has a controversial election history, including the Zuckbucks scandal in 2020, where the city received $1.6 million from the Center for Tech and Civic Life. The city's clerk, Christine Jeffries, has faced criticism for violating election laws. She cheated, including improperly handling absentee ballots. No name? Okay, that's all right. A paw print on the ballot? Great. We'll accept that one. We're pet friendly. Some council members and residents are calling for more natural legal representation, citing concerns about partisan influence on election administration. Some see the move as doubling down on past controversial practices rather than addressing concerns about election integrity. I'm wondering why somebody hasn't, accidentally thrown a match in these drop boxes. I don't know why that they think that that's a safe way of voting. But anyway, poof, and all of the how many are maybe 50,000 ballots that are stuffed in there by one person go up in flames in one moment. I wouldn't put my ballot in one of those drop boxes. I don't think anybody who actually voted did. But anyway, bloody weekend in the Windy City as Chicago's gun violence surges continues under Mayor Johnson. At least 43 people were shot, including 4 fatally last weekend in Chicago. I don't mean to be excited about this, but we do need to mourn those people. Let's pray for their families. Shooting occurred between Friday and Sunday night, with at least 19 people shot by Sunday morning. Among the fatal incidents, a 28-year-old man was found with multiple gunshots. Wonder why we don't have his race. Wounded on Saturday, and a 33-year-old man was killed by someone who cited a black sedan. Well, we get the color of the vehicle, and opened fire. The statistics are it was probably black on black violence is why we probably do not get their race. If it had been a white man shooting a black man, we would have known all about it. This weekend's violence follows a 4th of July weekend where at least 100 people were shot in Chicago, with 17 of those victims scrambling to their or succumbing, to their injuries. Oklahoma teachers defy state regulation mandates. Remember, Oklahoma State Education's Superintendent Ryan Walters has ordered public schools to incorporate the Bible and Ten Commandments into their curricula, sparking backlash from educators. Walters released guidelines mandating a physical copy of the Bible in each classroom, along with other historical documents, claiming they are necessary with a holistic education. Several school districts, including Bixby and Owasso, has announced they will not implement the new order, citing constitutional concerns and a lack of clarity in the guidelines. A parent has already filed a lawsuit against Walters' arguing that it is unconstitutional. While civil rights groups and Democratic law leaders have criticized the directive for potentially violating separation of church and state. Well, don't they know that that's not in the Constitution? It is a letter that Jefferson wrote to a minister, and for some reason in 1964, we picked it up and ran with it as if it's in the Constitution. It is not in the Constitution. What next? From President Donald Trump recently made an appearance on the live stream of popular internet personality Adin Ross. Who is Adin Ross, you ask? And why does it matter? Ross is an immensely popular live streamer with more than 10 million followers across all platforms. He needs to share the good news of the Word of God and share our podcast, doesn't he? Our way to our waycast, where we're in the book of John, chapter 6. He has a ton of influence with young men in their late teens and 20s. Young men are significantly less likely to vote than their female counterparts, and they politically tend conservative. Young men are getting sick and tired of all of the possible dating mates in this world claiming that they are homosexual now. Girls are turning to girls, and guys are left alone and becoming conservative as a result. When was the last time a major Republican political figure made any attempt to meet his demographics where they're at? Political activism and political culture are entirely inseparable nowadays, and Republicans are incredibly outgunned. Trump participating in Ross' live stream places him directly in front of an audience that it is historically extremely hard to engage and politically politically activate. Okay, young men in general have simply dropped out of politics. But Trump meeting them where they are and addressing their interests directly in an interactive forum could change that. Republicans need to be engaged with their core constituents. Young men are one of them. Utilizing large and enlarging platforms like Ross Livestream is crucial. Breaking uh, a calcified campaign strategy. I noticed it doesn't say what social media that he's on across all platforms. Okay. So, with that, that is the news for today. And so, tune in if you want to know the truth about the news here. And so, I'm excited to do this because some of my followers watch Channel 1 News and they are not getting the news. And so, hopefully, I can give you more informed and truthful news here. So tune in, maybe tomorrow. Good night.